Welcome to Behind the Matrix, the official podcast by Data Beauty Tribe. Here we go beyond the dashboards and job titles to uncover the real stories behind successful data careers. Every episode features honest conversations with data professionals, founders, and industry leaders as they share their journeys, lessons, challenges, and the decisions that shape their success. Whether you're just starting your career, looking to grow, or preparing for your next opportunity, this podcast is here to inspire, educate, and empower you. I'm your host, Delight Amadi, and our guest for today is Tina Okonkwo, a product and BI analyst. In today's episode, how Tina Okonkwo stays grounded despite her success. Tina shares how she has remained humble and intentional throughout her career, the mindset that has helped her continue growing, and the practical lessons every aspiring data professional can apply to their own journey. Let's get behind the metrics. A product growth and operation lead at Mitomi, an award-winning data analyst with over 5 years of experience helping businesses grow their data, product strategy, and operations. Now, she's the founder of the Power BI Project Club, a community manager at Data Community Africa, and has trained more than 6,000 professionals in data analytics, business intelligence, and AI. So her work has been featured by Tech Cover, FinGuide, Ventures Africa, Datacam, and Ingressive for Good. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Please join me in welcoming Tina Okonkwo to Behind the Matrix.
Good evening, everyone. I'm excited to, have this conversation, and I'm looking forward to having a good time with you guys.
Thank you so much. So, just like we're doing behind the matrix, is a conversational event. So, we are going to ask some of the questions that has been asked by the tribe, and we are expecting a sincere answer from you. Yes, as sincere as ever. Yes, please, if you can hear me, please be drop it in the comment section so that whenever you're not hearing me, just let me know, please. Now, let's start. So one of the questions that we are going to ask you, which is a very important question, it says that many people see where you are today. I too, I see where you are today, but we don't really know where you started. So can you walk us through your journey from being a product analyst to becoming a data and BI consultant, and what are the defining moments that shaped your career?
Okay, I'm sure I'm still audible. Well, I think maybe I should start before the data, right? First of all, like I have a background in mathematics. My name is Tina Okonkwo, and I schooled in University of Nigeria in Soka. And I was one of those people that, as a mathematics, student and all that, they tell you that if you ask questions like, "Oh, where can a mathematics graduate work?" They'll tell you that anywhere, right? I mean, now that I'm doing data, not that it's not entirely a lie. So at the time when I left school, I started doing all that research. Where can a mathematics graduate work? And I saw a lot of things around data, a lot of things around AI, a lot of things around, data science, data analytics, and all that. But at the time, I was not really interested in that part. I didn't know how to start, and I didn't know how to, move through that process. And, maybe should I say fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know, but the youth service year started, NYC started, and I started a career in customer service. And I did that for about, say, 4 5 years. It was going very good, and COVID happened, and I lost my job. And it was more or less like, what next? What else do I want to do? And thankfully, when people were starting to, things were starting to kick off back again, I got a job as a business development person where I was working in an oil and gas firm. And over there, I worked with Excel, but I didn't do really much of analytics and all that, but I was doing, business analysis and things around that. I did that for a while, and then I didn't really enjoy the environment anymore, even in terms of like, what I was being paid and things like that. So I left the job. I was out of job for a couple of months. I started working as a production assistant for a music video director. Very interesting. And I did that for quite a while until December 2021. And it was really, really, crazy. And I was like, no, I don't want to do this. I think I was being paid like around 10K per shoot. And like, there was not a lot of shoots forthcoming. And I started asking myself what next. So I started talking to a couple of friends, and they were like, "Oh, you know data, you read mathematics, this is like I think you should come into tech." And when people were saying, join tech, everything, I didn't see myself as somebody that wanted to be like, building websites for people. I didn't see myself as somebody that wanted to be, designing or doing all that. I just wanted to. I was looking for something that what will I say was like at the intersection between like what I was passionate about and what I also had like some sort of experience in. And that was when I started, like, I decided I wanted to do data science, but it was quite challenging because at that point, I did not have anything like a laptop. There was nothing, like, it was just me and my phone. And luckily for me, I got a scholarship from Ingressive for Good Community. They were giving out this data camp scholarship, and I was lucky to get one. So, and with data camp, I mean, I could learn on my phone, on my mobile. So I started learning on my mobile, doing all that. And I was also really, really fortunate. As the strike happened, my sister that was in school had to come back, and then I had to borrow a laptop like during the nights to just, practice all the things that, I was doing. And like it was just a very interesting period. I was doing all these things for about 3-4 months, and in the fourth month, I worked on a project that actually changed the trajectory of my career. I got my first job as a data analyst, and from there on, it's just been really growth. I've dabbled into a lot of things. I've done community management. Currently, I manage one of the biggest data communities in Africa, Data Community Africa. I'm also the founder of Power BI Project Club, where I just mentor and help people like build, their portfolio, their data portfolio, build problem solving projects and all that. And, most recently, I've been, exploring product growth and product analytics, and that has been going well. So in summary, that has just been like the journey of, Tina Okonkwo.
Wow.
This, no, it shouldn't be this, and you have to go back. And that is not one moment I wish or I want any analyst to face. So something I've been able to do over time is the business requirement gathering phase of things for me is very, very important, right? You see those discovery sessions where you are trying to understand their pain point and what they are trying to achieve with those reports or those dashboards. I don't skip it. If you're telling me you need something, I'm telling you that, you know what, let's jump on the call to, figure out what your problem, what exactly you need. It might be that you don't even need a dashboard. Maybe you just need a couple of numbers and all that. So I've learned to, understand what my own end user wants to achieve, right? Break that down before I go to my own board, do whatever I want to do before coming back. So there are times and there are case scenarios where, you have like, you go into meetings, nobody understands. My own approach has been to, let's start from the beginning. That very first time you're telling me build a dashboard, I'm asking you that, let me help you figure out your pain point and let me understand what exactly you're trying to achieve and how you want that report to look like before I go back to, doing the entire dashboard. I don't know if that answers your questions, but yes, there are cases like that.
Mm. All right. Are we gaining value from this? Let me see your thumbs up. If we are gaining value, thank you. So I have another interesting question. Um, so this question is, as a product growth and operation lead at Mutumo. Before I ask this question, can you introduce Mutumo for us? Please,
Oh,
just
definitely. I'm going to
yes.
do that.
Before
Mitimo
I
is my
ask this
new baby.
question.
Mitimo is my new baby, and it's very interesting that we are having, a meetup here or a virtual meetup, right? Mitumo is actually an event technology company, right? And what Mitumo just helps you do, right? It is like it helps you create events. Like for example, I use it for my own communities as well. It has saved my life as a community manager. And I would explain what I mean, right? When I want to organize event, one of the biggest challenge, and I'm sure you can agree with me, Delight, when it comes to organizing events, right? You can have like 500 people in your community, but when it comes to events, maybe you just see like 10, 15, or 20 people at most in your community. And I've realized some of the reasons why this happened is because, there are no ways to like pull reminders. Even if you're putting on that group, sometimes not everybody is online, right? So one thing Me Too More helps do is, when you can create your events there, you just tell people to register. So it would help you know how many people registered for your event. So you can know how many people you should be expecting at that your particular event. Also, in terms of like analytics, oh God, I'm a fan of numbers, and like I love analytics a lot. So I always, then what I used to do was, after our session or on a session like this, I'll share a form people would have to fill, and so I can take attendance. But now I don't need to do that. On Me Too, there's like a self-check-in feature. All I have to do is, activate that, and everybody will join and register for my event. They can just click on that link and check in. So immediately after my event, I can see the analytics of, the number of people that joined. If it's probably I'm doing a long session where I have different speakers, I can also put that on Me Too Mode, to the extent that, I can see which sessions that people actually really like. There's also the feedback, this and that. Immediately after my event, I can send feedback and all that. So basically, one of the things that I'm helping Me Too Mode do is to, drive product growth, drive product adoption. So if if you're somebody that organizes events, conferences, meetups, or you're organizing things around, hangouts, even with your friends, right? And you just need somewhere that you want people to actually register for that. Like, you can use Meetumo. Just go to meetumo.ai. That's M-E, like meet, M-E-E-T, and then U-M-O, meetumo.ai. You would see, like, you can register for your event as an organizer. Like, it just helps simplify all that process of me having to like send a mail manually. On there, I can send a mail immediately to all of my attendees, and they get that mail. Like, for example, now that we had to switch to Google Meet, one thing that Meetumo can help you do is immediately you just type a message to all the people that are joining that particular session to say, okay, we are now on Google Meet, and everybody gets an email. So it just makes life really, really easy, and you can use it for your virtual events and even for your physical events. So if you know anybody who's hosting a meetup, conference, like hangout or anything, please, you tell them to use meetumo.ai, or even feel free to reach out to me, right? I definitely I would want to walk you through and show you a demo. So yeah, that's what I do at Meetumo, and that's what Meetumo is all about. I hope I've been able to explain that very, very
You've been able
quickly.
to convince us and not confuse us that.
I'll be looking forward to see your next event on Meetumo July.
All right, so let's go back to the question. As a product growth and operation lead at Mitumo, how has your understanding of using data evolved from your early days as a data analyst?
I love these questions, and trust me, this is very. I really hope that people are taking notes, and these are the kind of sessions that I wish that I attended while I was like starting out my journey, because most of the things we are familiar with are what is in the textbook and what we see in tutorials, right? When
Yes.
you have sessions like this, people can learn from like the real world perspective, right? People can learn from like the real world perspective, and for me, I would say analytics has evolved in so many ways. So my very first job as an analyst was with a football fantasy platform. I don't know how many people it's called is like they're familiar with FPL, or the Premier League and all that. So if you're familiar with FPL, the company I used to work for, what they used to do was do games for like FPL. If you're also very familiar with like reality TV shows like your Big Brother, your Real Housewife of Lagos and everything, so they do fantasy for all these kind of shows. So it was more or less like a sports tech and end tech organization. And talking about this, the kind of data that they would be collecting would be it would be different than what I'm seeing now, right? Then most of the kind of data that I was gathering was a lot of data around like fan scoring, and just seeing, for example, as an analyst, I would track things around like how this would only make sense to people who are reality TV show fans. How every week, or a lot of people are always online on Twitter, like saying, oh, Messi, Messi, or Tacha, Tacha, or saying names and all that. I
We
was
do that in
tracking
our
all
community. We used to do messy,
yeah,
messy.
so I was exactly so I was tracking all of all those metrics, where there was like some sort of like people saying, oh, these people are like 6 months, 6 months or things like that. I would track all those metrics. I was tracking them like there was a way like we're scoring points and doing all of that. So I would do that analysis and upload it to like a particular place and would use that to score our users. That is one part of the kind of analysis I was doing. The second side of the analysis was, where we had users, it was a SaaS, like it was a product, right? There were cases where, users were not returning back to the platform, or they were like, churned users. That's what we call them, right? They were like, in terms of retention and all that, I was doing a lot of, that kind of analysis and all that. And from there on, I moved to I was doing a contract role for like a US organization that was like focused on health kind of data. So I was seeing things around patient readmission, things around like doctor visits, doctor appointment, and things. So it was an entirely different domain and entirely different things, right? Right now, most of the things I track in analytics, or the kind of data I'm tracking in analytics, is like repeat users, right? Things around that. So it's more similar. It's like I'm going back to my farm bands or the FPL kind of days, but a little more, much more strategic, because most of the numbers you want to be tracking, or most of the things I'm tracking in like analytically, is not just basically on informing like the stakeholders or anything. Is about how can we even make this product better to be able to compete against other event and ticketing platforms. So that is just like the kind of evil. Like, so I've moved beyond just reporting data, like reporting numbers, to say, okay, this is it, this is the this, into now building reports that are that are very, very strategic and that tie directly to the business goals and the business objectives. So for me, I would say that is how like my own journey as an analyst has evolved. I would have loved to say a lot on this particular one, but I'll just stop here because I think I've answered the question.
If we leave you today, Tina, you will not finish.
Yes, exactly.
All
So let
right.
me stop here.
I have an this one interests me. I When I saw that you've trained more than 6,000 professionals as a data analyst, I was like, wow. So, what is the biggest mistake you've consistently seen aspiring analysts make? Even when they possess strong technical skills, they are still making this mistake. What can you say about that?
I think the number one and like most consistent mistake is, you see, the one of picking different tools, right? Today I'm learning Excel. I've not even built one project in Excel. I'm jumping into Power BI. Oh, tomorrow. I tell people that, when I got my first opportunity, the only two things I knew how to use was Python and Power BI. I didn't even know how to use Excel. My SQL was very shabby because I hated SQL. Like, it was annoying me. That's how bad it was. So, and those were the only two tools I knew how to use. But I was good at those. In fact, my Power BI stuff was even shabby. I only knew the visualization side of Power BI, but those were the tools that I had this thing. But right now, you see a lot of people just chasing, like, I want to do everything. Like, oh, there's Fabric. Okay, let me do Fabric. Oh, there's Databricks. Oh, there's DBT. Like, you are taking up a lot of tools that you don't even know if you are going to use those particular tools even in your career. I've learned to tell people that you need to be tool agnostic, right? In the real world scenario, nobody cares about your tool. What everybody cares about is, can you actually solve the problem that I'm telling you to solve? I don't care if you decide to use an Excel, fine. People have their own, like some organizations have their ecosystem. For example, there are organizations that they use the Microsoft ecosystem. There are organizations that probably Salesforce and Tableau is like their ecosystem. So in those particular organizations, whatever you're using is probably Power BI and things around that. But you need to learn as an analyst to actually be tool agnostic, where you are just like focus on what you should be thinking about is how to solve the problem, not how to actually use the tool, right? Sometimes the problem self will determine the tool that you're going to probably use to actually solve that problem. You can't build a visualization in SQL. You need a visualization tool to do that. So that is just one particular mistake, right? Chasing different tools. The second one I see is, I want to learn, but I don't want to build. a lot of people learn these tools, but they are not building projects. And it's sad because how do you prove to people that yes, you've actually learned this thing? It's in the project you do. And when you want to work on projects, it's not about picking a data set and analyzing, it's about solving a business problem. If you as an analyst start approaching your problem or your data analytics as you would in a real world scenario, trust me, a lot of things is going to change, right? A lot of things is going to change. So I want everybody to start imagining, like just start thinking of your role as an analyst as, oh, I'm actually like when you want to build projects, just think of it this way. I want to build projects, but I want to, act as I'm a data analyst in this particular company and build the project like a data analyst in that company would, right? Thinking about the problem that you're trying to solve. It helps make that outreach that project is. And I'll give you an instance, right? For example, if you decide to build a customer churn project now, and myself working in a SaaS organization or like a startup or whatever, and I'm actually facing that particular problem in my organization, and I see you approach that particular problem that I'm facing in my organization in your project, I'll be so drawn to having a conversation with you because I want to bring you in to come and solve that problem for me. So I need analysts, beginners to stop approaching projects as a collection of like visualizations or just random visuals. Like you need to see it as you building solving a problem for an organization. So that is one thing, right? I think I've mentioned chasing too many tools. I've also mentioned like building building projects, like learning without building projects. And the last one, which is very important, but I mean a lot of us are on this call, so I would assume that we are not guilty of that, is not actually networking. Or I'm going to, this is like a 3-in-1: networking, community, and building in public. And I know that not a lot of us are going to be influencers, not a lot of us want to be content creator, but I've seen this work a lot for people, when people share their stories online. I mean, I wouldn't be here, she wouldn't be inviting me if my story is not up there, right? So when people share their story online, share their work online and things like that, it just boosts their profile and their portfolio, even though it helps a lot, especially when you're looking for opportunities. And then networking, right? You're in this community, you're like, who have you met? Like a new person that you did not know before, but you now know because you're in this community. Is very, very important. You want to like network with somebody, you want to make sure that you want to. And then the last one is community. But you're already in a community, I would assume. But it's not just about being in a community, it's about contributing in a community, right? I know sometimes probably Delight drops a message and maybe only one person responds, or only maybe 2 people react and everything. It's not like that, is not you being a part of that community. You want to make sure that even if you cannot volunteer, at least you are really, really engaging, right? And they can see your presence. Today, I connected somebody to a job, and the only reason why I knew that person was because of I met her in the community, and she's also really, really active in the community. And then I know that because see, for people that are living in the north and really far places, it's very, very difficult for them to get a role in data analytics and everything. But I know that this person stays in Kaduna and she's very like active in the community. I'm like, and somebody was like, oh, I'm looking for an analyst in Kaduna, and it didn't even take me long to like remember and refer her for that opportunity. That is the power of community. So it's very, very important. These are some of the things that I see analysts do that I think they should really, really like improve on.
Thank you so much, Tina. That answer was beautiful. And I would love you to know that in Data Beauty Tribe, when it comes to networking, when it comes to engaging, they are doing so amazing. Like
Ooh, I love it.
we even have an energy room where we gist, where we have fun.
I
Like
love it. People
it's
should
so
invite
amazing.
me.
Yeah. It's I don't worry. One day we'll invite you as a guest so that we'll have fun with you in the energy room. Don't worry, you will love it. Thank you so much. Thank you. So now this is another bit. I'm interested in this question. Your Power BI project club. What
Hmm.
inspired you to start it, and what gap did you see in the learning
Hmm.
journey of aspiring analysts that existing platforms weren't addressing? Then you just say, I need to address this problem, and that was that aha moment for you.
So, like I said, right, there are a lot of communities that are doing amazing stuff, right? People are organizing sessions like this, people are training people, right? And, I looked at the space, there was a lot of stuff around, learn Excel, learn Power BI, do this. But one of the gap that I saw was people were not building solid projects. People were building, right? People were building projects, but they were not solid enough. They were not problem solving projects. It meant it was more or less like like just a collection of visuals on their reports than like a dashboard that was actually that that had data storytelling involved in it, and a lot of problem solving in it. And I saw that gap, and that was what really inspired me to start the Power BI Project Club. And there was this when I attended Data First conference as well, there was a speaker that was like startup communities and all that. So I decided to create like the Power BI Project Club user group on Microsoft. It's actually a user group recognized by Microsoft, actually. So I created that, and that was how that community started. And we've been able to do amazing stuff, right? And with that community, that's where I've been able to train over 6,000. I think the highlight of that community is organizing like the free Power BI bootcamp I did last year that trained over 6,000 persons, right? Like, we'll be doing these sessions for like 2-3 hours. People are still on the call trying to learn and all that. So it was just that gap of, helping people build solid projects for their portfolio, right? The people not having portfolio, people don't know, not knowing how to actually approach like projects, right? That was the gap that I actually saw, and that is the gap that I'm trying to like fill with the Power BI Project Club.
Hmm. I'm not seeing any emoji. Is the emoji disappearing? Give. Did you see? Did you hear that amazing answer? And the emoji is disappearing. Please let's give more emoji. Thank you so much for that beautiful answer. She saw the gap and she filled it. I love that. All right. So this question, many analysts believe career growth comes from mastering models. You've nailed that. But still, I still want to know from you what non-technical skills have contributed most to your success.
Interesting. Funny enough, right? As an analyst, there are some non-technical, like in fact, I tell people that you cannot be an introvert as a data analyst. I'm sorry, because you would have to talk that reports that you are building, you'd have to present, nobody will present it for you. So I think communication is one of those non-negotiables, right? Being able to like communicate properly, being able to communicate your findings, being able to like tell people, what you have worked on. And communication is actually two ways. The way I would communicate with a technical person is different from the way I would communicate to a non-technical person. For non-technical person, what they care about is the business. They just want to hear those numbers, right? How they want to hear like how it actually, how it's actually affecting their business. That is something that a non-technical person, they don't want to know what you did in your SQL or in your Power BI. They just want you to speak the particular business. So probably instead of saying that, oh, we are losing customers by 3%, they want to hear something like, oh, we are losing customers in this channel and this is what is causing it. You want to speak what they actually understand. You don't want to tell them like, mathematical concepts or things around that. But if I'm talking to a non-technical, to a technical person rather, I'll be able to go into like all the jargons that I've done in my, analysis. So communication is one of those non-negotiable, right? Another thing that is very, very important, especially in this age of AI, is critical thinking. And when I talk about critical thinking, I always want to, I call it maybe critical and analytical thinking, right? Because I want to put both of them together in the same bucket. And the reason is because, right, there's a kind of thinking that says, think like an analyst, right? Not everybody can probably think, but you want to be able to see those patterns in the numbers. You want to be able to ask certain questions as an analyst that, why is this actually happening here? What's the reason why this is happening here, right? Why is there like a change? Why is there like a spike? Why is there a drop in this particular place? So analytical thinking and, having that critical thinking mindset is one of the non-negotiables as a data analyst. Even if you are going to, AI is going to write your code, even if AI is going to write your, maybe even design your dashboard for you. I mean, right now, and this is very interesting, like you can plug Claude directly into your Power BI and it builds an entire, your entire data model for you. But you still need to be able to think properly to ask Claude or to tell Claude what to do, right? And if you cannot think and understand the business problem that is being brought to you, you wouldn't even be able to prompt Claude to do that. So regardless of whatever you do, let your critical thinking be intact. So maybe for now, I'll just stick to communication and critical thinking. See those two things, they are non-negotiables for me.
Thank you so much. Communication and critical thinking. Thank you so much. Thank you. Adebi, I love you because the answers are so magnetic that it's meant to, these emojis to magnetize it so that it will be flowing. But I'm not saying good. Thank you because these answers are so powerful. Now looking back, what opportunity almost never happened because you initially doubted yourself? And what gave you the confidence to pursue it anyway? Why I ask this question is because most aspiring and beginners, they are still doubting themselves. You understand? They've done the project, they've called themselves data analysts, but they are still scared. So what gave you the confidence to just do it? What's
I'll tell
that?
you for a fact, right? With every new opportunity I get scared. Right now, I'm doing Me Too One. Probably somebody, when I was talking about Me Too More, somebody was like, oh my God, she knows her stuff. Like she says she's speaking very well. I'm scared. Like I'm really, really scared. And I'm asking myself, what if I fail at this? Like I don't think I'm good enough. So every time, even when I got my first opportunity as an analyst, and that happened like 4 months into learning. I mean, I'd never heard of it. Like, and there were a lot of stuff online then that was saying, you can't get a job in 1 year as the analyst, all about those learn data analytics and $6 is a lie. And so when that opportunity came, I was really, really asking myself, I was asking myself that, am I sure I'm good enough? They are going to discover me that I'm a fraud. I don't know what I'm doing. But I went in like I was learning while I was doing it. I was asking questions, and these things happen, right? As an analyst, like this thing present it and all that. But over time, I just learned like not to really dwell on those things. And I have amazing friends and amazing network that most times when I feel like this, I just have to call one person and they tell me that, what, Tina, you're amazing and you will do great and you will do. When I listen to my, I like to listen to my friends. So just outsiders talk about me because it just means that I'm actually really good at what I do. So one thing I've learned to tell people is it's just in your head. You would actually do great. But yes, fine, you're going to get like you get scared. I'm not going to say you're not going to get scared, but it's left for you to move like above or move like beyond that imposter syndrome that comes in your head.
Thank you. Are you encouraged? Are you encouraged? Please let me see your emojis. The truth is that I realized something that what is it called? Procrastination is the best friend of perfectionism. When
Hmm.
we want everything to be perfect, it tends to lead us to procrastination and we don't know about it. And the truth is that our brain will always give us 1001 reasons why we are going to fail, why this is going to fail. It will tell you, hey, look, you've not done this. Hey, do you know this? Hey, but you want to be perfect. I want to be perfect before I apply for that job. I want to be perfect. And the more you're doing perfectionism, it's leading you to procrastination. I love those answers so much. Is she still on the line? Is Tina still
Yes,
with
yeah,
us?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for that beautiful answer. So, I'm just trying to round up because of your time. So, you've been recognized by so many platforms, by Tech Cabal, Data Camp, Ventures Africa, and all the leading platforms. So, how do you remain grounded? How do you continue learning? And how do you avoid becoming comfortable?
This is actually a really tough question, and I'm thinking of how to answer this question because actually, I don't even know if comfortable is the word. I feel like, okay, maybe I should answer this question with this, right? When I started getting all these recognitions and all these awards and things around that. One of the things that was actually like making all these things happen was because I was sharing my journey publicly. I was just being out there. But currently, I'm at a stage where I don't even know where to what to share, right? Because I don't even want to. I don't want to sound like I know it all, but like I still want to share my experience, but I don't know what to share, right? So I'm at that stage where I don't want to say I'm comfortable, but I'm not like I don't even know what the next step is, right? In terms of like being in tune with where I was before. In terms of learning, I'll tell you that it's been really, really hard, right? There's a lot of things I want to learn, a lot of new and interesting stuff that I want to learn. But oh God, where's the time? Because like you said, I'm doing a lot of stuff. So I've been much more focused on, just getting the work done. Anything I can learn from the work, I learn from the work. So for me, how I've been able to stay grounded in like my learnings is once there's a shiny new tool or something people are talking about, what I always do is if there's like a 15 minutes video or there's like a article, if there's like an article, I'll just go there, read all those stuffs to understand like what is going on, right? Understand what is going on and just get like use that to familiarize myself. So that is what how I've been able to stay grounded. But I'm not going to say that I'm comfortable because oh my god, I want to buy a Lambo and I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. So I'm not
I
comfortable.
resonate with you. I resonate with that vision.
So I'm still grinding and I'm still super, super locked in. So yeah.
Please, can we add midwives? Thank you so much for that beautiful answer. That was so beautiful. All right, the last question. Now this question is so important to me because I also want to remember the last words of Tina Okonkwo. I want it to resonate with me and I want it to move me to action. Now imagine someone watching this conversation today. 5 years later, they become an exceptional professional because of one lesson you shared. So, what is the one piece of advice you hope they remember for the rest of their career? Did she hear me?
Sorry, I didn't realize I was muted. So, one piece of advice I would tell them this particular thing: don't focus on becoming someone who knows data. Focus on becoming someone who solves problems with data. And I know why I'm saying this thing, right? AI is moving really fast, so I would assume that 5 years from now, oh my God, AI will probably be building end to end. I mean, it's already doing that in some cases, but maybe not like to the letter, but AI will actually be building the entire dashboard. So what then becomes of you as an analyst, right? So please focus on becoming someone who solves problem with data. I want you to, if you're not doing that and you're just starting out your career in data, build projects. It would help you a lot in the long run. Also be very, very curious. Ask questions wherever you are. If you're in community, me, I know that technology will keep changing, but you see all of us on this call who can actually turn data and information into like better decisions will continue to remain valuable and would
Relevant.
always be valuable. So please don't focus on becoming someone who knows data. Focus on becoming someone who solves problem with data.
Thank you so much. That was amazing. That was amazing. Thank you for listening to this episode of Behind the Matrix. I hope today's conversation has inspired you and given you practical insights you can apply to your own career journey. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to follow Behind the Matrix on all your favorite podcast platforms so you never miss an episode. We also love your support. Please like and share this episode with another data professional who will find it valuable. Behind the Matrix is proudly brought to you by Data Beauty Tribe, a global community empowering data professionals to learn, build, and grow through hands on projects, mentorship, networking, portfolio workshops, and real business challenges. To stay connected and never miss our workshops, webinars, business challenges, and future podcast episodes, follow Data Beauty Tribe on LinkedIn, X, YouTube, TikTok, IG, and Facebook. Until next time, keep learning, keep building, and keep growing. I'm Delight Amadi, and this has been Behind the Matrix. Thank you for listening.